Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Good evening once again. It's me, Ohima Adeepena, coming your way with the Adeepena Show. In the studio with me today is our usual guest, Mr. Kofi Opoku Apo. And Mr. Kofi, good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Good afternoon,
How
Ohima
are you
Adeepena.
doing today?
Today, I am alive and well, and it's
Friday!
Friday!
Yes, so it's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. So thank you everybody for spending your Friday evening with us. You can be anywhere and you decide to come to the show to listen, to learn, and discuss our topic with us. So today our topic is marriage a real deal or it's a contract? So we are going to discuss whether marriage is a real deal or it's a contract. Once again, my name is Ohima Adeepena, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Kofi. My first question to you is, what at all is marriage? Before you start, please, our viewers, if you are listening or watching us, you can share this program so others can learn too. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Adeepena Show. Follow us on all social media platforms, Adeepena Show, or my personal Facebook page, which is Nanabna Adeepena. And it's been a while since I introduced to you my book, and it's titled Broken Bonds, Unbroken Spirit, A Mother's Journey to Resilience. If you want to be resilient, okay, read this book. You know where I am coming from, where I have been, and how far God is taking me. So get a copy on Amazon or my website, which is adeepena.com. Thank you. So, Mr. Kofi, today we are discussing, is marriage a real deal or it's a contract? So we start with the first question. What at all is marriage?
Yo, Adeepena, thank you. Thank you once again for the opportunity to spend my Friday afternoon with you and our lovely viewers all around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, dawn, good early morning, whatever time you are joining us from, whatever time it is where you are right now. We appreciate you spending your Friday with us. And like I said, we cannot have this show without your input. So please, your questions, your comments, your contributions are much, much appreciated. So, Adeapena, like I always say, there are 50 million definitions to anything, right?
Yeah.
There are some subjects that has one definition or one formula. There are some things that has one formula. But when it
Mhm.
comes to life issues like marriage or relationship, in my opinion, there are so many definitions.
Yeah.
And so the question of what marriage at all is, to me, marriage, it can be defined in so many ways.
Mhm.
Different cultures and individuals may even have their own definition,
Yeah.
right? But personally, I would say that marriage is a union, right?
Mhm.
That is recognized by society, by law, or religion between two
Mhm.
people.
Okay.
Now, in some cultures, marriage might mean a union between a man and many women or several women. But regardless of who may be involved in the marriage, marriage is supposed to create an official relationship that comes with certain rights and responsibilities, which often includes elements like commitment, love, and partnership. So, in a nutshell, in a simple terms, that is the way I would define marriage. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
And what
much.
about you, Ohima? How would you define marriage?
Um, I'll define marriage as uh it's a I'll define it as a contract between two people,
Mm,
basically a man and a woman.
mm,
Um, when and like you said, it's usually what your culture demands. Depending on that, you can define your own, or you can state your own understanding concerning marriage.
mhm.
So some people would want to, some cultures may demand a man marrying more than one wife, or um, there are other cultures that the man is supposed to be married to just one wife. So that
Okay,
is how I would define what marriage is.
that is
My
wonderful. Thank you.
understanding of what marriage should be.
Right. So,
Yes.
viewers, we also need your definition of what marriage is. How do you understand marriage? If
Yeah.
somebody
How?
approaches you and asks you what is marriage at all, what would be your definition? So please send in your contributions and comment, and let's all learn together. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kofi. So, um, do you see marriage as a contract, or you see it as a real deal?
Hmm. This is a good question. Do I see marriage as a contract or as a
Yeah.
real deal? Okay.
Yes.
So again, this is my perspective. I think marriage can be both real. Marriage
Mm-hmm.
can be a real deal or a contract.
Okay.
Okay. And there are some people that actually have both. Okay. Now
Okay.
the real deal, in my understanding is my understanding of what a real deal is, or marriage that is real deal, is like a covenant marriage, right? A
Covenant
covenant
marriage.
marriage. Yeah. Where, it's like it's basically like the ones that we are used to, especially if you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Um the understanding of covenant is that you go into a covenant with a partner or a person, and you guys agree to spend the rest of your life together through
Okay.
thick and thin until death do you part. So you go into a covenant, right? That's
Okay.
the real deal, the covenant marriage. So that's the way I'm gonna understand. I'll put it to make it easier to understand. So I think marriage can be both real
Real
deal
deal.
or contract.
Okay.
And so anytime I use real deal, I'm talking about covenant marriage. So covenant marriage as a real deal, um, or some you can even say a personal covenant marriage, because people kind of personalize it. Is more about the spiritual or deeply personal promise
Okay.
to be devoted or committed to one person, or if there are more than one wives and one man, whatever it is, to
Mm-hmm.
be committed for life to someone or to some people until death do you part. And
Okay.
you promise to love them, or to get married to them, or
Mm-hmm.
to be committed to them, or to her, or to him until you die. So
Okay.
that is the real deal. That is the covenant marriage.
Okay.
And then contract marriage, on the other hand, my understanding is more of like you going into like a binding or a legal contract that
Mm-hmm.
gives you or both partners the rights and the responsibilities that is recognized by society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this legal contract must be recorded, by the government, or you have to go and sign some document, and requires that the two people involved are those that are getting married agree to that contract. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just sign it. Okay, I've signed. No, no,
Yeah.
you have to agree to that contract.
Agree.
Yes, and the contract sets for the rules and things like properties, family issues, divorce, and all that. So everything that you are doing is defined by the set of rules or whatever governs the contract. So that is my understanding of what a contract marriage is and a real day marriage. Like I said, a real day marriage or a covenant marriage, you vowing to live your life with somebody for better, for worse, for the rest of your
Mhm.
life,
Okay.
right? And then the
Mhm.
contract one is literally just making sure that there's a legal binding document that spells out your responsibilities, all right, and what you're supposed to do. And it also covers things like your properties, your family issues, and how to be divorced and blah 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 and stuff like that. And so that is my understanding of real deal marriage, contract marriage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So are there any pros and cons when it comes to real deal marriage?
Okay, so yes, they are. Remember, everything in life has good side and a bad side. Every
That's
or pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages, however I
mhm.
want to see it. And marriage is no exception.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when you look at our marriages today, most of it are real deal marriage. It's like covenant marriage. Like you enter
Mhm.
into it, and then death do you part. Our mothers, our great grandmothers, like society. Most of it is covenant marriage, the real deal, right? It's a whole package. It's not uh pick and choose. It's like you go in for the real deal. So
Mhm.
the advantages to that, and then there are disadvantages to that. And so we're gonna look at the advantages of a real deal or covenant
Mhm.
marriage. We're gonna
Okay.
look at the disadvantages, and then we look at advantages of the contract marriage,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna look at the. So we're gonna break it down.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
all this again is Kofi Opoku Apo's opinion and perspective.
Once
Okay.
again.
Yeah, once again, there might be 50 million perspectives out there, but this is my perspective
Yeah.
based on the friends, the people, those that I've asked, and all the research and everything. Okay, so
Mhm.
now when you take the advantages of a
Mhm.
covenant marriage again is the real deal marriage, right?
Yeah.
Covenant marriage ensures greater stability and commitment.
Okay.
Um, because like I said, because covenant marriage is more like you go to church and you go and say for better or for worse,
Always.
right?
Mhm.
And so for better or for worse, marriages are legally set up so that couples or the partners think seriously about lasting or lifetime commitment, right? And this can help create stronger and more durable relationships because you are committed for life. So that is one of the advantage. I mean, that's what the first advantage. The next advantage is that covenant marriage also prevents divorce, right? Um, because when you're in a covenant marriage, it makes it harder to easily think about getting divorced because
Okay.
you're in a commitment for life. So even though divorce is a thing, it makes it harder for you to think easily about it. It rather encourages couples, right, to solve their problems instead of just giving up on each other because
Okay.
you are in it for life. And that
That's
is an advantage.
the real deal.
That's the real deal. Everything this is the real deal marriage, right? It's the real deal. And then the next advantage that I think is that again about covenant or the real deal marriage is it encourages seeking help or counseling during difficult times, right? And so many a times, remember, especially in Ghana, I remember in a lot of cultures in America, they encourage premarital counseling
Yeah.
because you are going into a real deal. You are going to like a long-term commitment. It's not just go in and go out. It's a real deal. It's the covenant. And so they encourage premarital counseling. And even after marriage, they also encourage ongoing counseling. Okay. These are needed. Why? Not just to ensure that the partners or the couple stay forever. But studies even shows that it can lead to better results in a marriage. When you go to premarital counseling, they tell you all that you're supposed to expect in the marriage. So you are kind of prepared. And then you go
Prepare.
into the marriage. And then
Okay.
when things are happening, you keep going to counseling. You seek all this help from pastors and professionals and to enrich and to give you more understanding and ground you in that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Okay.
this is mostly rooted in covenant marriage, or what we call the real deal. And so it's an advantage. And then another advantage is that which I should have said earlier, is that mostly the covenant marriage is more of a religious based connection,
Mm.
right? Because like couples know that couples that have beliefs, maybe as a Christian, as a Muslim, as whatever, right? Their beliefs has a religious connection to it. And their religious beliefs or stronger personal feelings about their belief in a higher power, they think that, for me as a Christian, we think that marriage is a sacred institution that God Himself set up.
Mm-hmm.
And Muslims also believe it. And some religions also believe that whatever God they are serving or whatever power they are serving, you know. And you look, even is it Jesus Christ of the Latter Day Saint, that's in the Mormon church. They believe that when you marry in the Mormon church, it's for eternity. Your marriage is for eternity.
Mm.
It's forever. Christians, we also believe that for better, for worse, is
Yeah, for
forever.
better, for worse.
Muslims like so, and so it is also has a strong religious connection. All right, that a
Mm.
higher power is the one that instituted marriage. So we have to, observe it and be in it forever. So that are some of the advantages of covenant marriage or marriage that are for real.
Okay. Before you
Okay.
continue,
Mhm.
um, I want to welcome all our viewers to the Adia Pena show, and we are here. We are discussing today, is marriage a real deal or it's a contract?
Mhm.
So, my friend on Facebook said, there is there any real marriage these days? So he's just asking. That's my friend. And he also said, this topic funny me, bro. All these advantages were real back in the days.
Yes,
That's my
but
friend.
that's true, Morani. Yes,
Mm.
it's back in the day, but remember, even though it's back in the day, people still hold on to it, and people actually, that is the real. That's what we call the real deal marriage. It's been with that since time immemorial. Even though things are changing, there are some traditions, there are some cultures, there are some societies that still hold on to it. They hold on firmly to it. That is why we have to discuss all of them, right? And so these days, if you are from a culture that believe in the covenant marriage, you are going to pass on to your children, right? But at the same time, society is changing. That is why we also have the contract marriage. So we are looking at all these to be able to like understand whichever one you are in or whichever one you want to go into it. The bottom line is for you to be happy in your marriage, and to enjoy. Okay.
Marani, I want to ask you if you are married. Let me know if you are married or you are not married. So, uh,
Okay. So now we're going to look at the disadvantages of the real deal marriage or the covenant marriage.
mm,
Okay. There are a few, there are a lot, but also a few that I heard some of my old school friends, old school kind, like those that have been married for years and years and years, and that believe in that
mm,
covenant marriage, right? The first thing they said is that covenant marriage makes it challenging to leave
mm.
an abusive relationship because you are
To
stuck in
leave
you are to
or
leave.
to stay in.
No, no, this is
Oh, to
disadvantage.
leave, like,
To
okay,
leave, like just to
okay.
leave, just to
Mm,
pack your things and go to get
mm,
divorced.
mm.
Covenant marriages makes it very hard, makes it difficult to think to just get up and go and say, I want divorce.
Okay.
Why? Because remember, first of all, because because of its religious base, and also because there's a legal implication to it, it makes the rules kind of little strict for divorce to just happen. Because when you're going, there was nothing that says that just get up and divorce. No. So it makes it very challenging to just leave.
But
One couple, that I asked, one
didn't the Bible
hold
give
on, one
certain
couple I
conditions?
asked said that it has because she loved the husband. The husband is everything that she has ever wanted. But I get to a point where she feel like there's no point for them to continue the marriage. But
Mm-hmm.
because she married in the church and she's a very respectable person in the church and in
Mm-hmm.
the society, she's forced to stay in that marriage. Even though sometimes I feel like it's a harmful situation that she's in, and sometimes emotionally and financially she's drained, it still makes it difficult for her to leave because they are in a covenant. They promised
Mm-hmm.
each other for better or for worse. You have to stick to each other. And so
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a disadvantage if the marriage becomes abusive or the marriage is toxic and you have to still stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
That's
disadvantage, right?
that's true.
Another disadvantage is that, for covenant marriages or the real deal marriages, it creates more emotional and financial strain, like I just said,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You and your husband are not there. Like you just saying you hate each other, you can't stand each other, but because for better or for worse, you have to stay in it because, like again, like the lady I cited, the person I cited, her position in the society, she's very respected in the society and in the church, and so whatever is going on emotionally with her emotionally,
Yeah.
and sometimes financially, it's so difficult for her because they are in a covenant to stay together forever, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
She endures longer and more complicated. Like it said, the marriage is more complicated. And if she decides to
She
go
will
for
die. You.
divorce, if she decides to go for divorce, it's not going to be just easy. It's
Yeah.
going to be a long, complicated process because it's legally
Mm-hmm.
also structured. But remember, these are old school people. They've been together for almost 50 something years.
Mm-hmm.
So she's seen it all. But she's just sharing her experience that sometimes that is how she feels like, or she just cannot, she just something want to pack and go. But there's also the covenant to be together forever.
Yeah.
And so it creates that emotional and financial strain. And so that's seen as a disadvantage, right? Not an advantage, a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Another disadvantage that I heard a lot of people say is they say, I have no personal freedom.
Mm.
I have no personal freedom. Why? Because
Mm.
because uh, uh, um, everything that you're doing, you have to consider the other person,
Yeah.
right? And if I'm doing something that will impact the other person, I have to consider. And so maybe I have the freedom to just do something, but I'm like, nah, nah. And so there's no personal freedom to be yourself because you are in this covenant relationship that you expect to be a certain way and be there for each other. And that's what society even expects, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it puts couples in a very, very, in a really bad situation where like they can't do anything. And so
Mm.
that's a disadvantage. And then covenant marriages, the real day marriages, can also have a very, what may call it, can have um, negative impact when there are kids involved. Because remember,
Okay.
think
Yeah.
about it. The man and woman are in an abusive relationship, but they have decided
Mm-hmm.
to stay together regardless. And there are children involved. So the children are always witnessing all the
Yeah.
craziness
Going.
that is
Yeah.
going on between the man and
Mm-hmm.
dad, the mom and dad. The hurt that mom is going through, dad is going through, the confusion and everything. The children are witnessing it. And so it can create negative impact on the
Yeah.
kids, right? And then finally, covenant marriages, another disadvantage is that it's not suitable for this day and age. Oh. That is why young couples don't have one who go to the church to to even say, Pastor, no, 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 they don't want to have anything like that. It is not
Mm.
appealing to young couples of today because they want flexible legal options where they can easily say, hey, I'm out. And they don't want nothing to do with. forever or for worse, for rich, for poorer, for something like that. So that is also a disadvantage. And
Mm.
finally, covenant or the real deal actually excludes some people in our society. And it based on a culture. You remember, a man and a woman. I mean, we believe that a lot of cultures, a lot of people believe that marriage is sacred between a man and a woman. And so when two
Mhm.
men want to get married, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
When two women or LGBTQ, whatever, all these things, society frowns upon it because they don't recognize it as a marriage, because most of
Mm.
the understanding is rooted on the covenant, the real, original, real deal marriage. And so these new marriages and whatever, it's not accepted. So these are some of the disadvantages of the real deal marriage,
All right.
right? So,
Thank you.
mhm.
Go ahead.
And then now, we're gonna talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the contract marriage. So I want to hear what you want to say.
Okay, 1 second before I say something. I
Okay.
asked Marani if he's married or not. He said not yet. I don't want to end up at Antina. So you
What
know
is
who Antina is.
no? Who is
So
Antina?
there is this program in Ghana that like people go to, kind of like a radio station, but the host like usually attend to like family issues like this. So
Oh, okay.
he said he doesn't want to go to Antina. So
Morani.
yeah, Mr. Kofi, I heard everything that you said. I believe in the real deal marriage, right? I
Mhm.
also believe in the contract marriage. What I'm going to talk about, I want to talk a little about the contract marriage, and this is not because I don't believe in the real deal marriage, but I
Mhm.
believe in it. But what I always say is like, especially women, okay, when we go into marriage, we kind of like put everything of ours into the marriage. We and this is not to say that we don't have to love our husbands or something like that. No. I i wish, like, whether or not it's a real deal or it's a contract, within your with in your mindset, or how you think, or how you handle your marriage, you should treat it as a contract. And I'm not saying this because i'm I'm against the real deal, but when I believe that when you view the marriage as a contract, there are certain things that will kind of like not impact you a lot. Let's say some women will go into marriage with all this expectation and all that. So they are emotionally involved, let me say over emotionally involved in the relationship, and the least thing affects them. So when you view your marriage as a contract, to me, I think you free yourself from certain things. So
Mhm.
when something hits up, and most definitely you will experience certain things that you don't expect to happen. But
Mhm.
once you are human, your husband is also a human, definitely something will happen. But
Mhm.
some women will not like think that this, because I'm a woman, so let me talk about the women. I don't know about the men. If maybe you can say something about them. So some women will go in with everything, their body, their soul, their mind. You understand what I'm saying? So when you view it as a contract is kind of like a teamwork. You and your
Mhm.
husband, although it's marriage, you've gone to marriage itself is a contract. The moment you sign that certificate, whatever, it is a contract. So when you view it like it's a contract, don't And this is not like you are not showing love, you are not showing care, you are not doing anything to make the marriage work. But when you view, to me, I think when you view it as a contract, you kind of not put too much emotions in it. Like, it's not like you don't care or you don't love, but you will free yourself from certain uncertainties. Like, you will not, let's say, for instance, excuse me to say, your husband goes to cheat, but you are, if you have it in your mindset as it's a contract, it's easy for you to, or it's easier for you to forgive your husband and live freely with him. But when you are viewing it like it's a, and like you said, some of the
Covenant. It's a covenant marriage.
disadvantages of the covenant marriages, when you view it as the covenant marriage, you see the woman that cannot liberate herself from whatever she's going through in her marriage. If she's viewing the marriage as a contract, she's able to free herself. It's okay to separate yourself for some time. But when you are like, oh, society will say this, society will say that, I'm not able to, we are not here to like tell people to divorce their husbands or wife or anything, but you have that liberty, right? You have that liberty to free yourself, free your mind from some uncertainties that happens in marriage. So I wish some women will kind of like have the mindset, even if it is real, you a pastor blessed it, or it's a covenant, it's whatever. You don't have to like be too emotional about it. Right? When the husband goes out, oh, where did you go? Where? No, you give the person room to also operate in certain ways. When you are too much involved and your thinking ability, your everything, your emotions, you put everything in it, it affects you. It really affects you. I remember back in the days when I was in the nursing training back in Ghana, we went to have some of our practicals in Ankafo. And kind of like 90% of the patients there were women. And trust me, like 10% of these women are like mentally, they have the real actual mental illness. A lot of them are just broken hearted, like, oh, we're broken hearted, they didn't know how, oh, wait, there was one lady that they call her soft mommy. And you know, Sofo is Sofo, right? So
Yes.
you least expect that your Sofo will cheat on you as a wife. And she called the husband red handle, they say real hand, whatever
Yes.
it is, with
Red
another
handed.
woman at the church premises where yes. So this woman couldn't hold, and I'm thinking the shock that she had, that was what brought her to the mental hospital. So if like she hasn't one final dream now, because say, oh, this is a covenant marriage, this is this, I cannot free myself and all of that. Like Obenya shock, but the impact on her will be minimized. So
I see.
So it's not like I don't believe in say it is real. It is actually real. But for you to soak yourself, your being, your spirit, your soul, everything in it, and you be like, hey, I can't separate myself. Or even if you are dying, you have to stay in and die. It's a no.
Yes.
It's a no. So
that is a very powerful very powerful perspective. And so, wow, I think you even said everything I was gonna say. But it's good because that's why some people prefer the contract marriage and some also prefer the, but so I'm trying to lean towards Morani that the covenant the real deal is very old. It's an old school marriage and things are changing. So now people are having this the idea of being more of a contract marriage, especially in this country, right? Back in
Mhm.
Ghana, it's still more of a covenant marriage, but here in this country, it's becoming more of a contract marriage. And so, I mean, these are some of the advantages, include like I'm adding to what you just said,
Yeah.
of contract marriage, right? Now, so the first one is the contract marriages protect individual assets, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a contract marriage or in a marriage that is you see as contractual, it can help you protect your personal belongings, your business interests, and future inheritance. You know, because when something happens, you keep everything that you have. You keep everything that you have. That is one advantage. For example, before you go into marriage, say, you know what, we're gonna have what we call pre-nuptial agreement, and it's very, very common these days in America. Look, you have your house, you have your cars, even you have your debts, you have whatever your everything you owe. There's an agreement that even though you're going to marry, you keep your debt, I keep my debt. You keep this, I keep this. If in case something happens, we go our separate ways. Everybody keep their whatever, right? And so
Mhm.
that is an advantage. That's what a lot of people like. They don't want to go in and, like you said, we are stuck and we can't do this and we can't do this. Or I have all these properties and the man has nothing. And the man comes in, and then if there's a divorce, the man is literally taking half of the things that I have, or the other way around, right? Or
Mhm.
some people might say that if you have a debt, a student loan, you keep paying your student loan, I keep paying my student loan. So with contract marriages, the advantage is that it protects individual assets. And I'll say it also makes sure that you keep your liabilities too, which some
Mhm.
people want it. Because if you are paying your student loan, you don't need to pay mine as well. I pay my student loan whether I can pay it or not.
Mhm.
But then that doesn't mean we are not in a relationship. We are firmly committed to each other, but we just want to have that liberty to keep whatever it is that we have, right? That's an advantage. Another advantage is that it clarifies financial matters, like I already said. So I don't have to go back. It clarify. Mami Adia Pena, for example, Brakofi, I worry about me because $1 million for bank. Don't okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I have all of it documented. Okay, it looks like you're only $10,000. We are going to get married, but when something happens, I am keeping my $1 million. You take your $10,000. We don't want no trouble. But that doesn't mean that we are not married. We are, right? And so contract marriage clarify financial matters. It set clear rules for managing money before marriage, like I said, and how to divide property, which
Mhm.
can lower financial stress and avoid fights in a relationship. And then contract marriage also avoid costly litigation. So, because some of the covenant marriages during divorce, the litigation is so much because they have to share everything, and sometimes the man don't understand why I'm sharing this with my wife, and that the wife doesn't. It's so much headache. But with contract marriage, it protects and avoid costly litigation because you sort out your financial issues ahead of time before even going to the marriage. So everything is clear, right? You don't have to worry about anything. And then contract marriage also provide, like you said, peace of mind.
Mhm.
If people would have the idea that, you know what, we are all humans, um, anything can happen. If if your husband, I don't expect him to go and cheat. I don't expect my wife to go and cheat. I don't expect them to do anything stupid. But if in case they do it, I'm not going to get to a point where I lose myself as if I
Mhm.
can't do anything, right? And
Yeah.
so with that in mind, you have some peace of mind, but you still
Mhm.
love each other and you are still in
Yeah.
in a
Mhm.
relationship, but
Mhm.
you keep your sanity. If in case something
Mhm.
like that has, like
Yeah.
that poor woman you just cited, that now that woman is in the mental hospital because she was
Mhm.
so shocked seeing the husband cheat.
Yeah.
She was thinking about the husband as like an angel or something,
Like
forgetting
a
that,
god. A
like a
god.
god,
Mhm.
forgetting that humans are just humans,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so these contract marriages, these are some of the advantages. And finally, it also protects children from previous marriage, right?
Yeah.
If let's say you have a children that you brought them to um, a new relationship, if it's a contract marriage, it makes sure that the asset and inheritance, right, are kept safe for the kids earlier in the relationship. So he said that, you know what, I have 4 kids, and this $1 million is going to go for my 4 kids. Even though we are married, I have already put this aside.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect it to change. So you have everything clearly planned before you go into the marriage. And so that makes it the marriage contract. And then it's also encourage open financial discussion and make sure that everything that you guys are doing, it's clearly everybody knows his or her stand in that relationship. But you still love each other,
Yeah.
right? You still love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now here are the disadvantages of contract marriage. It's the opposite of everything that I said. So those that are thinking about marrying, those that are in a marriage, it doesn't matter what marriage you are in.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons. And
Mm-hmm.
so for the contract marriage, the disadvantage is that, it creates a lot of distrust and tension. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end, for example, we love each other. We are planning to marry, we plan to do this. We can see we love each other. But you're telling me that every money you have, you're gonna keep it. Even though I agree, still at the back of my mind, it's like, I don't know why she doesn't trust me. Because asking, so this is it, asking for what I call the prenuptial agreement, right? Before you
Mm-hmm.
marry can
Yeah.
sometimes be seen as not trusting it's like, I want us to sign this prenuptial agreement so that if in case anything happens, we'll go our
In the
separate
marriage.
ways.
It's
Like, wait,
like
what?
you've pre-divorced what
Exa-
that's
it's
still in the marriage,
exactly,
right?
exactly. It's like, wait, we are not even married and we already divorced. It's like,
Yeah.
so it creates this distrust and tension. That is a disadvantage, right? And then
Yeah.
it also creates like legal cost and complexity because even drafting the prenuptial so that everybody is clear and understanding before you get married can be can be expensive
Mm-hmm.
because I have to try and accommodate all the things that you want to keep. You have also tried to accommodate, and sometimes the legal back and forth can be costly. So that is some of the disadvantages, right? Drawing the prenuptial agreement, or some also have what we call postnuptial agreement. Postnuptial
Yeah.
agreement is where you are married, but then you come together and say, if in case we divorce tomorrow, this is what we are doing it, right? And so these are all disadvantages of what contract marriage, and then it can be very risky, right?
How?
I mean, or it
Mm-hmm.
can be on. It can be or let me use the word, it can be unfair sometimes, right? Because look, the contract might lead to an unfair decision, the financial situation. Think about it though, because um, like I said, I know that I love you, and we are going to spend the rest of our lives together. So I feel like whatever I have is yours. Whatever you have is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the case. You and I, before we got married, you have this amount of money. That money should be at our disposal for us to use to build a family together.
Mm-hmm.
But that prenuptial agreement is putting so much restrictions on your money. And for me being the man and have to be the breadwinner of the house, that my small money that I can also take away, now I have to make it available to take care of the family where you are keeping yours. And so it felt like there's some unfair balance, unless some of the woman was okay, let's bring our money together, right? So even for example, if you are contributing 50-50, you have $1 million. I have $10,000. How is that fair? How is that fair? See,
Yeah.
so this can create an unfairness.
Mm-hmm.
See, so it's
Yeah.
also an advantage of a contract marriage. And then, see, I also feel like contract marriage may not cover every scenario. It doesn't matter how good and how careful the people plan to have the contract before they marry. It might not cover every scenario because
Mm-hmm.
contract can be challenged if a lot changed during the marriage. You have said A, B, C, D, but then because there were certain things that were not there before the marriage, those things were not accounted for.
Yeah.
Now you get married, and now those things come into play. How do you account for those? those scenarios? How do you account for
Mm,
those changes? And
mm.
so that becomes what? Very, very challenging. And those scenarios can just even create more problems and more confusion. Think about it, for example, like child custody. When you guys were not married, in your prenuptial agreement and everything, you did not talk about child
Yeah.
custody because you didn't have
Mhm,
kids. Now you have kids, right? And then you
mhm.
want to go separate ways. Think about the challenge that it's going to cause about child support, who has the custody. It's so much back and forth and so much uncertainties that cannot be captured. And so that becomes a disadvantage, right?
Mhm.
And then finally, a lot of people don't even, they don't, even though they sign the prenuptial, they don't even go by it.
Yeah,
Once you
that's
get
true.
married, they're doing their own thing. Like everything that we signed, oh, forget it, it was just a piece of paper. I can easily break it, or we cannot even enforce it because things change. So all these are what do we call it? Disadvantages of having a contract marriage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kofi. So, to our listeners, if you are watching us, thank you. Wherever you are watching us from, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel because lately, Facebook is kind of a little acting up. So, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Adia Pena Show, so that whenever the program starts, you can join us, or our uh, uh, Facebook page, Adia Pena Show. But I wish you can subscribe to the YouTube channel because Facebook is sometimes acting up. Sister Bernie said there will be family interference causing stress and difficulty in the marriage. It's
Yes,
very true.
exactly. Especially, is this talking about contract marriages? Yes.
I think
Dennis,
so.
you are
Is
spot
it
on 100%.
contract marriage or real deal marriage? Not sure. He said partners may be experiencing shock because they are going to discover all hidden things. And this
Which one is this? I said
this
this is the contract marriage.
yeah, this is very true. So Mr. Kofi, personally, I personally don't I really don't like, or I'm not interested in the prenuptial or the postnuptial agreement thing. I don't
Mhm.
believe in it. But one thing I will like, to me, I will view marriage like, it's not like um I don't agree in the real or the covenant marriage thing. I do 100%. But when you set your mind to make to view it as a contract, I think it helps a lot. You view your husband as your teammate, or Bible said you are his helper, right? So if you are viewing him as a teammate and as a, oh, like in a contract, like there is this liberty, this freedom, this independence that you have. And I think as a woman, it will help you a lot than
Mhm.
to be so much involved with your emotions, your everything like that. So to me, well, that is how I think Bernice is saying, she's talking about the contract marriage. So to me,
Okay.
that is, it's not necessarily signing the prenuptial or the postnuptial thing, no. But when you view it as such, I think it will help. It will help a lot. So
I agree.
yeah,
I
so you
agree.
don't invest your emotions, and when your husband goes out and he hasn't come back home, you just have to let him be. You trust your husband, he trusts you, you let him be. When it comes to the financial aspect, to communication is a key. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
our viewers that are coming in late, we are discussing, is marriage a real deal or it's a contract? And I'm thinking, even if it's a real deal, as a woman, if you view it, you have this concept in your mind that, oh, he's my husband, he's not my property. you kind of like let him be, and he will also let you be, whatever the situation may be. So
Yes.
no, you are not late, Mr. Asante. Today we are discussing, and I think our time is almost up. We are discussing, is marriage a real deal or it's a contract? So whatever your understanding to marriage is, you can share, so our viewers can also share with us whatever they think they understand concerning marriage. So, Mr. Kofi,
Mhm.
any final words as we are about to end our discussion for today?
Yes, it has a few final words. All I want to say is that look, marriage is marriage. Whether you prefer the contract marriage or you prefer the covenant marriage, the real deal marriage, it's marriage. The most important that counts is the love and the connection between the two of you,
Yeah.
the partners or the couple. So
Mm-hmm.
no matter the marriage that you find yourself in, like I said, whether covenant or contract, it is absolutely important, right, to protect yourselves at all times. Men, protect yourselves. Women, protect yourselves. Let's have emotional and behavioral protection. It's very important for a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying that the woman should involve her body, her soul, her spirit, and everything. And then the man also involves only just her body. It's
Mm-hmm.
not fair, right?
Yeah.
You
Or vice
involve,
versa.
yes, or vice versa. All I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is that the two of you were put together to continue life, to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
One person should not be at the receiving end where she's always not happy and struggling, and that is not good.
Yeah.
So whether you are in a covenant relationship or in a contract relationship, the most important thing is to protect yourself at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll suggest is that communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk openly about everything. Communication is key, like you said, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways to do that is to use counseling. We can counsel. Like
Yeah.
before you get married, you counsel. After marriage, you keep counseling from your pastor, from the professionals, from people in the society you trust. You communicate, right? Now, when you do counseling and you seek help, it makes you get better at communicating and solving problems in the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, like I said, in both covenant or contract relationships, communication is key. We need to be able to talk freely about any problem directly, right?
Yeah.
Solve it so that the relationship will go on. And also, we have to set good boundaries. For better, for worse, doesn't mean that now
Be there
I
and
don't
die.
have boundaries, right? For richer or for poorer, till death do us part doesn't mean there's no boundaries. Or because you have entered into a contract that we're going to get married, and if you leave, you're going to go to your property. So I'm not going to respect your boundaries. My point is, both partners, couples should set good boundaries and make sure to the boundary has to be clear, communicated,
Yeah.
and then we stick to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be boundaries between you, the couple, between families, between friends, and even people outside of marriage to keep trust and integrity in the relationship. It is very, very important, right? We also have to what? Look for outside help. I already said that through counseling. If if your marriage is going through serious problems, please let's talk to the wise and the trusted people in our churches, in our societies, in our professional settings, like the counselors, the religious leaders, and the therapists for advice. Like I've said, it's very, very, very important. And then finally, please, if it happens that the relationship is becoming toxic and is going to impact your health and your mental health, with all the examples that we have heard from people being in the mental hospital because of what happened, please think about separation for safety.
I was going to
Separate
say
yourself.
that. Mm-hmm.
Why? This is not Kofi Opoku saying. Even God Himself said it. Even those that are Christians and the religious, the first of all, the Bible says that it is better to stay single. It is better to stay alone than to stay in the same house or be married to what? A quarrelsome, a troublesome wife or woman, or a
Mm,
house that is full of trouble. God even want us to be what? Sane. He want us to keep our sanity.
mm,
So if you say you are going through that, please think about your health and stay away. Separate yourself. That is not the end. Don't think that because it's for better and for worse, you're going to stay there and you're going to get killed or you're going to destroy your life. God doesn't approve that. God says stay away. So we have to, even if we believe in a higher power, your higher power says that keep yourself sane. Okay? If there's an abuse, if there's anything that will threaten your life as a partner, please think about separation to keep yourself, and if there are kids involved, to keep the kids safe. Even if you are in a covenant relationship,
relationship.
for better or for worse, doesn't mean sit down and let them cut off your
Die.
head. Man, for better or for worse, doesn't mean if the woman is giving you, killing you slowly or killing you softly, you
Yeah.
need to sit in there. And
Mm.
woman, it doesn't mean if the man is treating you horribly, you have to stay in there. Because Bible says, it's not this Kofi saying, and those that believe in the Quran, even Quran said something
You
that,
sure?
oh yeah. It's in the Quran that, remember, it said, men are to cherish and honor their wives,
Mm.
and wives be obedient. It doesn't mean be slave or subservient. It said be obedient to your husbands. It's in the Bible, it's in the Quran. It's you check most of the religion. It's in there in a different way. The point is, let's keep ourselves, because marriage, even though it's important, it's not more important than our individual lives. We came together to agree to stay together and build life. If things are not working, please let's keep our health and our sanity and our everything intact. This is Kofi Opoku Apo's perspective
About marriage.
about marriage. Thank you very much for spending 1 hour or so of your time with us for us to share ideas again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kofi. I just want to add something little. So me, I'm a Christian. I'm going to talk in a Christian perspective. Okay.
Okay.
So marriage will not, if you are married, you are not going to heaven because you are married.
Yes.
But this same marriage can take you to hell.
Yes.
Okay. If you have some sort of resentment in you because you are married to an abusive husband or an abusive wife, this thing can take you to hell.
Mm.
If you don't separate yourself, like Mr. Kofi said, like you are in an abusive relationship and you be like, oh, nkwala ninti, you are going to die, oh, my sister, my
Yes.
brother. So please, marriage is not like the end of the world. If you are married and you know that nipa ya identity is being abusive, whatever kind of abuse, it could be verbally abusive, physical abuse,
Physically,
and
emotionally,
all the
psychologically,
kinds of
financially.
abuse that you are in. And you know what? Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I'm married to this pastor," or people in higher social hierarchy and all that. I'm married to this so and so big man, rich man, well-known man. This. So I can't divorce, and you be in there killing yourself, killing your soul, your
Mm.
children. You are not happy. You can't emit any good energy
Positive
out there.
energy.
Yeah, so why it's okay to separate yourself for a short time or for some time and then come back. So when you are in the room or you are by yourself and you are like, oh, I'm married to this pastor and he is abusing me because he is this and that, I can't leave because society is going to say this. Society, before you know, society will be burying you.
Yes.
You will be dead and society will bury you and nobody will know what happened to you. Adwene no mu ayɛ yɛka ne sɛn, adwene no mu ayɛ bebree. You don't have any focus. You can, even love yourself. So the women, and frankly, some men also go through abusive relationship. Trust me.
Yes.
Some men go through. It's not just women that go through abusive relationship. Some men also do. So if you are in an abusive relationship, till kakra, have a break, have time for yourself, show yourself some love, gather all the good energy you can, and then, like Barack Ofi said, sort for counseling. Could be from through a pastor, professionals, and all that, so you can be a peaceful person. Because if you are not peaceful, you are not emitting any peaceful energy out there.
Yeah.
Which is not good for your health. So this brings us to the end of our program today. We discussed is marriage. Marriage is a whole big deal on its
Yeah.
own. But we just we just have a pinch of it to
Mm-hmm.
discuss whether it's a real deal or it's a contract. I believe that it's a real deal. It's a real deal. But when you have that perception in your mind that it's a contract, you free yourself, you free your husband, you guys live peacefully, harmoniously, and happy ever after. So thank you, Mr. Kofi, for coming. Thank
Thank
you to
you.
our
Thank you,
viewers
guys.
for
Thank you,
your
everyone.
time. I really appreciate our people in Ghana whenever they chip in their questions and comments, because whilst it's like 7 p.m. my time, it's like 11 p.m. over there. So thank you, everybody, for coming. A week today, we are going to have another beautiful topic for us to discuss. So meet us here same time next Friday. So we meet again. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Mr. Kofi. Thanks for coming.
Bye. You have a good weekend.
Thank you.